Hey everyone! So I'm back to do another, almost said January, another wrap-up video for you guys. This video is going to be all about the books and manga that I read in the month of February, and I read more books this month. I read 2 more books this month because I didn't read any books last month. So, yeah. So I read 2 books and 3 manga this month, and I think I want to start with the books, basically, first. So we'll start there. The first book I read this month was Reality Boy by A.S. King. This book is about a boy named Gerald Faust who, he's 17, I believe, living in, I don't know what the state was actually, I forget, but he lives in a state, and he was once on reality TV when he was really little. I think he was about 5 years old, between the ages of 5 and 7, I think. And basically the whole reality show is about this bratty kid who always used to poop on things, and he pooped everywhere. He pooped in his mom's shoes, you know, in his sister's bedroom and all that. So they really portrayed him as this really troubled child, and this book is all about the misconceptions of reality TV and what we see on TV and how people react to it in such really disturbing ways. And it was a really amazing book. The voice of this novel, Gerald, is a very, very angry main character. He has all this pent-up hatred for the people that made him go on this reality TV show and his parents, and it's really, really sad just what he goes through in this book surrounding that. And it really explores how people that are on reality TV actually are, and I liked that. I thought that was really interesting, because I never really got into reality TV ever. I never watched it. I never got into that crap. So getting to see it through the eyes of someone who's been in the business was really, really cool. I know it's fiction, but I'm sure there's some truth to this book, and it was really, really amazing. There were a few parts that were just so hilarious, and then other parts that were so, like, dark and scary, just really, really terrifying, and like I really, really liked that. I thought that was really, really a good balance between them, and A.S. King did a fabulous job at writing this book and creating this main character that's just so complex and just kind of insane. And I'm not sure what scenes were real and what scenes were not real, because he kind of goes a bit crazy in this book. And I thought that was really interesting, and I'm definitely looking forward to reading more A.S. King books. She is just a fabulous writer. So, yeah, I have a cart on Amazon where I basically have, like, every single book she's ever published. So, yeah, I like A.S. King, as you couldn't tell. And the last book that I read this month, I only read 2 books, but this one is probably my favorite of the month, and that is Hounded by Kevin Hearn. This is the first book in the Iron Druid Chronicles, which features an Iron Druid, obviously, and his name is Atticus O'Sullivan. He is 21 years old, technically 21 centuries old, though. He's lived for 21 centuries, and he owns this spice and herb shop, I believe, an occult bookshop, and he lives with his dog Oberon in Arizona. And basically there are gods and goddesses coming down to Earth to cause havoc, and he has to protect the human world from the Fey world. But there's a lot more complexity to that. There are vampires and werewolves and witches who are the worst things in existence. I hate witches now. I absolutely hate them. Don't mess with witches. They are scary. Scary. But the basic premise is that Atticus has this sword that his father once owned, but a Celtic god, the Celtic god of love, had stolen the sword from his father, and then he stole the sword back from him. And now the Celtic god is angry and wants the sword back for himself. It's called Fragara, and it's an intense, exciting, fun read. Kevin Hearn's writing is so hilarious and funny, especially when he writes about Oberon. Oberon is my favorite character in this book. He was fantastic. Oberon is an Irish wolfhound that follows Atticus. He's basically his best friend, and he is so funny. His like output on life and just the things that he thinks about is hilarious. He loves coffee. He drinks coffee. He loves sausages and French poodles. He wants a harem of French poodles. He's freaking hilarious, and I love Oberon so much. I think that was one of the huge driving points for this book for me reading it, because just every scene with Oberon was absolutely amazing, and he's just such a sweet dog. I love him so much. But yeah, this book basically just sets up the world for the series, if there is a world. It's a modern urban fantasy series, but it's really, really good, and I highly, highly recommend you check this out if you're into urban fantasy. It is so good. Even if you're not, it's just such a fun read. It's so quick and just exciting the whole way through, and I can't wait to read the rest of the series because it's just amazing. So those are all the books that I read this month, but I did read 3 manga volumes, and they are all yaoi, so I'm really excited to talk about this with you guys. The first one I read was Punch Up, and this is a series by Shioko Kano, and Shioko has written a lot of manga, a lot of yaoi manga in the past, and this is one of her newer series. I believe all the volumes of this are out, possibly, if I'm not mistaken. It's published by Sublime Manga, and it was pretty good. It was interesting and decent. I did like it. I didn't end up liking the 2 main characters. It just didn't wow me as much as I wanted it to, though. Like, I guess I shouldn't really expect too much out of a yaoi manga, because there are some stories that are really compelling and really awesome, but a lot of them just seem really flat and just really repetitive. They're all the same story, but some of them are really good. So, I like this one. I thought it was interesting. It's basically about this man who falls in love with an architect, and they end up living together through circumstances, and I really liked it. It's got an age difference, I think, which is very, very, very common in yaoi manga. That's another trope that they have, which I don't mind. I don't mind age differences as long as it's not like 50 and a 16-year-old or something like that. But, it's not that bad. But it's really good. I did like it. I don't want to say that I loved it because it's only the first volume, but I do want to read the next one. I did really like it. And there is a cute kitty that they have in this book. That's how they meet, through the cat, and I can't even really find a good picture of him. Oh, there we go. Where she's biting his hand, and yeah, she's cute. So yeah, I like that. That was nice. And the last 2 volumes of yaoi that I read this month were volumes 1 and 2 of Awkward Silence. Now, I had read the first chapter of the first volume maybe last year or the year before that. I read it a long time ago, and I liked it, but I just didn't get hooked onto it, I guess, and I stopped reading it. But I absolutely adore this series now. It is so good. It's basically about this boy named Satoru. Sorry, I can't pronounce names right now. And he is a very awkward kid. He has a really hard time conveying emotions, as you can see from the cover. He has no facial expression. It's the little kid with the gray hair. And he can't really, put himself out there. He's really awkward, and he falls in love with the captain of the baseball team at his school, and that's him on the cover as well, the blonde guy. That's Keigo, and Keigo is just super sweet and amazing. I like him a lot. I really, really like this series. It's about opening yourself up to someone and being there for someone and just enjoying life, and it does have, the yaoi tropes as well. There's some sexual content in this, and there is sexual content in the other book, so I will let you know about that. But I really genuinely enjoyed the story, and the 2 characters were just, I could relate to them, and I really, really liked them a lot. So if you haven't read Awkward Silence yet, I would highly recommend this one. This one's a fabulous yaoi series. I loved it so much. It's so good. It's by the same creator as The Tyrant Vows in Love, which I do have problems with that series. That's one of the series where I just am not sure what I think about it yet. But this one is so much better than that. I think she really improved her style and just her storytelling in general. but I'm going to give the other series a little bit more of a chance before I get a full opinion on it. But this one was just beautiful. I loved it. It was really, really good. And I can't wait to read the next 2 volumes. There's only 2 more, so it's a really short series, but it's just pleasant and awesome. I really, really like it a lot. And in the second volume, they go more into detail about some other characters. They're going to get into another romance story, so it's not just Keigo and Satoru. So that's really nice. I like when they have multiple romance love interests, because that just makes it more interesting to me. And the mangaka only intended this series to be 1 volume long, so I'm really glad that she decided to continue it, because there's more to this story than meets the eye, and I really, really like it. So if you're into yaoi manga, I highly recommend this one. This one's fantastic. So it's really good. Yeah, I hope you check it out someday. So these are all the books that I have read this month. I didn't read a whole lot this month, but I had class and a lot of other stories to read for class, because I'm in like 3 literature classes right now, so that's fun. But I also want to go over what I'm currently reading and trying to get through. I'm reading 4 books right now, and that's probably not the best idea, but I can't stop myself from starting new things. The first one's another yaoi, so I'm going to get through this kind of quickly. This is Honey Darling, which is a one-shot manga about these 2 guys that kind of fall in love. One's a veterinarian, and I have mixed feelings on it so far, but I've only read like the first 50 pages, so I can't really comment too much. But I like what I've read. I'm just kind of a little bit iffy on some things, because one of them is kind of controlling, so I don't know. We'll see what happens at the end of the book, though. Maybe it'll get better. Because there is a chance for growth and a change in character in some of these manga, so I'm hoping for that. The next thing I'm reading incredibly slowly, because I'm reading it for school, and also kind of for pleasure, too. But it's just so, like, I don't want to say dense, but the reading requires more attention and just thoughts with like metaphorical stuff, and that is the Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I'm liking this one so far. I'm only 20 pages in, so I can't even really talk about it too much, but I've already taken some notes on it, and it is pretty interesting so far, so I gotta read more to have a better opinion on it. But it's one of the classic books about, or modern classic books about feminism, and I'm excited to finally find out what this whole thing is about, basically. Then I'm still reading Variant by Robinson Wells. I'm about halfway, well, I want to say 30% in, so I'm almost halfway, basically. And I am liking this so far. It's really good. I just need to get more into it and finish it up, because I'm borrowing this from a friend right now, and she needs her copy back. I need to get it to her. I don't like borrowing books, because I always take too long to read them, and I don't like that about myself, so I gotta get through this month for sure. And then the last book I'm reading right now, I started reading again recently, and that is the Malloreon series by David Eddings. This is the first book, called Guardians of the West, and it is just so charming and so wonderful. I'm loving it so much. I don't know why I put it down like 5 years ago. I started this in 2010, and I put it down, and I have no idea why. I think I was just getting into YA books at that time, and I didn't want to read fantasy at that moment, so I wanted to get into the YA genre or something, and I don't know. So I just put this down, but I'm really liking it so far. It's really, really excellent so far. It's a lot better than the Belgariad in terms of like story and plot and intrigue, I guess, because it's getting into the story faster, because we already know these characters, so I like that a lot. And I'm so excited to be reading this series, just ecstatic. I love this author so much. So yeah, guys, I think that's about it for this video. Those are all the books that I read and all the books that I'm reading so far, and I'm just really, really excited to be getting into fantasy again. I've been kind of on this realistic fiction kick for the past year, and now I'm finally getting back into fantasy. So, really excited for that. Let me know what you guys are reading this month, if you're reading any fantasy books, or any book, really, actually. I'd like to talk to you about them, and yeah, tell me what you think of these books in the comments below as well. That would be fun to talk about, because I love discussing books. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and I shall see you guys next time. Bye-bye!